We had the XFL this weekend. We're going to talk everything else, but it was probably the biggest story of the weekend. I think anytime one of these football leagues debuts, it is the biggest story for at least one weekend. I enjoyed it.
The XFL I thought it was really fun. Now,
Yeah.
I watched, obviously, all of the first game. I was in D.C. for it. The crowd was electric. The crowd was ready for some football. Who knows how the XFL is going to go, if it's going to be like a season-long fascination, or if it's going to be like the AAF last year, where it was the first 2 weeks we're like, yeah, let's go football.
Yep. And
then it died out. But it seemed like the rules were just drunk enough in the XFL where it could work out. And I'm going to say, like, the atmosphere in D.C. at Audi Field was better. It was more fun than any Redskins game that I've been to in the last, 20 years.
Well, so the quarterback play actually weirdly was better for the D.C. Defenders than it had been for the Redskins for the last 20 years, too. Cardell Jones was good.
He was really good, and I thought that was a surprise to me. I didn't know if he was going to be good or not.
He was definitely the guy to watch because all the other quarterbacks weren't so good. So I went into it. I've said it on Friday's show. I'm nervous because I went into AAF thinking, oh my God, this is going to be great, and then got my heart broken. I've done this dance before, so I went into it cautious, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was watchable, better than the AAF. There's definitely some things that are weird that they have to fix, but there's also some things that will be in the NFL soon.
Yes.
The kickoff rule is cool. I like the kickoff rule. The extra points, where it's 1, 2, and 3, I love that you can go for 3 now because it extends games. And it also gives situations where Mark Trestman can kick a field goal when the team actually is only down 2 scores. So he kicked a field goal to go down 2 scores to go down 2 scores, not realizing that you can go for 3 and get 9 points. But
I also like it how on those extra points, you've got anytime you can have 3 different colored lines superimposed on the field is awesome.
Yes.
It's like there's 2, there's 3, from the 2-yard line, it's 1 point. From the 5, it's 2 points. From the 10, it's 3 points. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would ever go for 1.
If
you go for one, you should have to wear a scarlet letter.
Everyone went for 1 because it was perfect. It was basically giving these football coaches, and that's actually a great thing to watch, is all these football coaches that have been cast aside for a while. Like Kevin Gilbride was coaching the Guardians. He hasn't coached since 2013, kind of thrown out to pasture. So now he's back, trying to get back into it, and he's still doing conservative things to try to save his job.
It's just 1 point.
Yeah, it's great to watch these guys.
You don't get fired if you go for 1.
Jerry Glanville's got 2 headsets on. Ultimate football guy move.
Now, he was 69ing the headsets because one has the
defense,
mouthpiece on one.
Yeah.
It was great. I got to listen in on some of the play calls that were going on in the DC game, during the actual play.
Right.
Because the coaches can still, they're talking to each other.
They were playing it on the broadcast too.
During the actual plays?
Yeah, they would sometimes play what they were saying.
Yeah, so during the plays it was awesome hearing Pep Hamilton yelling at Cardell for making the wrong decision. He's throw it away. God damn it, Cardell. It was actually it was very interesting to hear. The crowd was having a great time. It seemed like everybody was it was almost like a company Christmas party in the stands where everybody was just a little bit tipsy going into it and not really taking it super seriously, but just there to have fun.
I also credit to the XFL. They did a good job with the jerseys. I like the jersey colors. They're just good enough where you can see it as not a complete clown league. You know what I mean? I even like the Vipers. I thought their helmets were cool. The Dragons.
The Vipers,
I like their colors. It was just enough.
Here's my problem with the Vipers helmet. It had notes of the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Lime green, but it was almost a little bit of barf pea soup.
No, I was cool with it.
It got tampered down too much.
I was cool with it. So the helmets, the jerseys looked cool. Some things I didn't like. Mark Trestman's just triggering me the whole time.
I told you.
I didn't. I thought there were too many interviews on the sideline. That's something they're gonna have to figure out because it was a little too much. I didn't really need to hear from a guy who ran a slant and caught a pass for 10 yards. Be how'd that go? Mm-hmm. So that was a little too much. I like that they're getting into the game. They also have to figure out a way. So they went up to the replay booth a bunch, and it sounded like I had went up 2 flights of stairs. Just everyone's breathing super heavy into the mic.
Yeah.
So I like the transparency, but that's a little thing that they'll probably have to fix. But overall, I'd give it's far better than the AAF. I don't know if it's going to succeed because, as I've always said, Tell me how it does when we get to March Madness, when we get to the Masters and NBA and NHL playoffs. But as of right now, I thought it was good.
I had more fun at that game on Saturday than I've had in a very long time. Regardless, I know I compared it to FedEx Field, which is like comparing a diamond to a piece of shit, because FedEx Field is by far the worst stadium, I think, in all of the National Football League. But just being at that game, it was fun. It was exciting, and that's all that we want out of extra football.
Right.
It's bonus football, and it was fun, even though the over
The
didn't
football
hit.
itself wasn't great, but that's okay.
We need to do something about the overs.
Yep. Yeah, people got very mad at me because I said in jest, it was a bad beat. It was beautiful that we started a league with a bad beat on the over in the DC Defenders game. I said cancel the league, not fun. And I always forget that, like, there are some people who will take everything very seriously and also take football that seriously. We're like, fuck you, why would you bash my league that I've loved for one day? When I was very much in jest because the next game went over and I was like, you know what? League's back on.
Listen, I'm a lifelong XFL fan. I'm a day one DC Defenders guy.
So I guess the big test is, will you go out of your way to watch games? Because that's really what it comes down to me. I think I will watch games if I'm sitting there and it's like, oh, okay. It's like I found myself even today. I watched the Wisconsin basketball game and then I was like, oh, there's a game on. Let me flip over. And I watched it for a little bit. But will you build your weekend around it? It doesn't pass that test yet.
Well, it passed this one test earlier today. I was at a bar. I was eating lunch, and they had the UMass game on, the basketball game. I think it was UMass George Mason.
I lost,
which is like asterisk. Is that really a college basketball game?
No, it is, yeah.
And the bartender heard like a request from somebody at the end of the room. It was like, oh yeah, okay. She goes up to the TV, changes it to the XFL.
This is like
that's the beginning.
This
that's
is
the
like
start of a movement.
This is like political Twitter when people make up, like, my 5-year-old just asked me,
it was the
what
wave.
does Medicare for all mean?
I was in a hipster.
You're the football politician making up stories.
I was in a hipster coffee shop.
Viper fan.
No, it actually did happen that they changed it to the. I don't think the person gave a shit
I know.
about the Vipers.
I'm just kidding.
But
I love those stories on Twitter. It was like, oh yeah,
I'm in a hipster coffee shop and all the former liberals are talking about how much they love Donald Trump. Yeah, that's essentially the story that I told, but it was true, and it's the start of a wave. I don't know how we're going to look at this league in 2 months' time, but what I do know is that this weekend there was football on TV.
Yeah,
as opposed to
I liked it.
Maybe there not being football on TV.
I liked it, and I feel like we're taking the mature approach versus last year when we lost our mind about the AAF and
You're right.
forgot about it a week later. So this is
We've been hurt before.
Yeah, I like it. I will watch it if I'm around and sitting there. Again, come March Madness, we'll see. That will be the big test.
Is the XFL better than the NFL already?
Wow.
Who's to say?
Maybe. It also would just, if they just had like one or two more guys. I know that they can't like waste all their money on names, but if Tebow or Kaepernick,
that's what I've been saying,
or Manziel, like they just, because like I actually watched the first game because it was on and I was watching it anyway. But Cardell Jones is one of those guys. I even tweeted, it was like, Cardell Jones, he'll make plays. You're like, why didn't he turn out? Why isn't he better than he is?
I think Cardell Jones has only started 12 games.
No, he has not lost the start since high school.
Yeah, but he's only started like 12 or 13 games.
He came in relief.
He's football
in Ohio
younger
State, won
than
the national
Mitchell
title.
Trubisky is.
Yeah. So I watch him and I'm always baffled. Like, that guy's got an arm. He makes plays and then he'll do something stupid. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But he's someone you tune in to watch for. They need like one or two more of those guys to really compel me to be like, okay, I got to be in front of the TV for this game.
2/3 of the Golden Triangle, if you had Kaepernick, Tebow, Manziel. If you had 2/3 of those, people are going to tune in and watch. Toss in RG3 to the list.
Maybe Jay Cutler. Come back.
Jay Cutler.
He's working on handball now.
Maybe Joe Burrow elects to be drafted by the XFL.
Trevor Lawrence. Skip your last year at Clemson.
That's
Play
right.
for the Vipers.
Who knows? These things could happen. One suggested, so you were talking about up in the replay booth, how it's a lot of just old men being like,
yes,
just breathing directly in.
And a guy holding an Xbox controller.
Which is sweet.
Yeah,
which is
very
badass.
sweet.
Gamer for life.
He looked like Xbox like one. I think he was playing Halo in between quarters.
Originally, like offline, not connected to the internet.
Yeah.
So what they should do is they should just put like a filter on them so they sound like pilots, and then have Top Gun going in the background, like the music.
Cool.
The da-da-da.
They could buy an
like,
ad space. Yeah.
Roger that. Looks like we're gonna spot the ball on the 42-yard line. It's a sunny day, and break back to you guys down on the field. Like that'd be cool to have.
Yes.
That little like dynamic going on up there.
I agree. So the other story we have out of the XFL. By the way, you can watch us barstoolgold.com/PMT. We got Chris Jones and Josh Allen coming up. You versus Darren Ravel.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Darren
came at me. Sometimes you have to send a message that you're not to be fucked with, and maybe I went a little bit too far.
What did he say?
Yeah, what did he say?
Darren played dress up this morning for the XFL Guardians, the hated Guardians.
Darren made fun of the fact that you got cut from the XFL.
Yeah, he played dress up,
It's not funny.
and they let him put on a little uniform and act like he was a football player. And then he was like, one journalist didn't get cut. And yeah, Darren's because you aren't athletic enough to actually try out. And so I had to come at him and basically make fun of the fact that he's never given a woman an orgasm.
There we go.
And which he did not dispute.
That was the first time, you know how before you tried out, you're like, hey, I actually want to make this team. Not like ironically, I want to make this team.
Yeah.
That really hammered it home when you went at Darren Ravel and you were actually mad. It was like, you know what?
Well,
PFT, have his back, because guess what, Ravel? It's not funny, dude.
he came at me first.
It's not fucking funny, man.
Listen, you got to send a message sometimes and let people know that you still got it. You know?
Nice to see they let you have a jersey number honoring the amount of original ideas you've ever had, multiplied by the number of times you've successfully located a clitoris.
Got him.
Yeah,
Got him.
Facts only.
Bam, bam, bam.
And
Have
then
it.
and then his response was, actually, I've had several original ideas.
It's like,
At not addressing
so
the
clitoris
clitoris.
might
Yeah.
be 0 then. Nice job, Ravel.
Looks like I got him. Also, they missed a 35-yarder as we addressed in the fast
Yes.
2 minutes.
So that was a very funny moment.
But then
Just
he
a perfect moment.
But then he made a 55-yarder, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. Why? But that's not my job.
Yeah,
I'm not a distance guy. I'm not a show-off guy.
when he missed a 35-yarder, I had a moment where I was kind of pissed. I was like, what the fuck? Why is PFT not in this league? And then he bombed a 55-yarder. I was
kick.
like, shit, that's probably why.
It was a great kick,
because, he can kick more than 35.
But who knows?
But he missed a 35-yarder.
Also got to hobnob with some of the brass, the XFL brass on the sidelines there, and the dream might not be over.